Hi, we're gonna start today with chapter 3 of the book of Conan and the Barbarian, The Red Nails. Okay, so if you have something to do and you want to watch this, I'll wait you here for a second. No? That's okay. Okay, so let's get started. The boarding school. Valeria went silently in her soft leather boots through the door and looked down from the gallery. She saw a man moving scarcely along the narrow hall below her. What a surprise to see someone living in this dead and silent place. She watched the figure. So, unlike the people in the mosaic at the foot of his stairs, he was wild-looking, thin and short, with long, dirty black hair. He wore a leather belt round his middle and short leather skirt. He carried a white sword in his right hand, and he shook fearfully and looked worried from side to side as he moved quietly down the hall. He did not see Valeria watching him from the gallery above, but disappeared through an open door. Moments later, Valeria heard the sound of someone choking, and then all was silent. What had happened? Valeria walked around the gallery until she reached a door. It was right above the door where the man had disappeared. Quietly, she opened it and went in. She found herself standing at one side of a circular gallery. It was lit by firestones, and the room below was full of dark shadows. She looked downward, her eyes winding as the darkness began to clear. Below her, she could see the man that she had last seen in the hall. He lay still, face down on the red carpet that covered the floor. His sword lay by him. Why isn't he moving? She thought. And then he saw the carpet around him. It was darker red. Her blood ran cold. Just then, another man, very like the first, entered the room through a door opposite the hall door. He called to the man on the floor, "Chismek!" The other did not move. The new man went over, took the first by the shoulder, and turned him over. A choking cry escaped him as the man's head fell back. Someone had cut his throat. The man let the dead body fall back on the carpet and stood up, shaking like a leaf. His face was gray with fear. He took out his sword and turned to leave, but then stopped. Unable to move, he looked across the room with waiting eyes. In the shadows under the gallery, a ghostly light began shining and grow stronger. It was not part of the firestone light. Valeria felt the hair on the back of his neck stand up. In the middle of the ghostly night, a man's skull was floating, and it was from this that the unnatural light came. The man stood still straight this ghostly figure, and the skull came out from the wall. A shadow moved under it. Valeria noticed. Suddenly, the shadow looked the shape of a man, with chest, arms, and legs that were deathly white in color. The empty eyes of the skull were mysteriously invading, and the man who was watching could not look away. He was not only afraid. Valeria realized something in the strange light had put him under a spell. His sword has now down at his side, useless. Suddenly, he fell to his neck and dropped his sword, covering his eyes with his hands, and ghostly figure lifted the sword in its hand high. ready to bring it down on his neck. Like a wild cat, Valeria jumped down from the gallery. She landed on the carpet, sword in hand, behind the ghostly shape. The figure turned toward her, but she was too quick for it. She drove the sword fiercely into its body. It was a living man, she realized, and no ghost. Her sword cut through the man's chest, and he fell to the floor and died almost at once. The school rolled away. He was a man very like the others, who was still on his knees at Valeria's feet. Just then, a man who had been under the spell jumped up, staring at Valeria and crying, "Who are you? Where are you from? Why are you here?" He didn't wait for answer, but went on it. "It doesn't matter who you are. You are a friend. You've killed the burning skull." It was only a man after all. He thought it was a ghost that they'd killed for the catacombs. He listened for a moment. Valeria could hear nothing. "We must hurry. They're west of the great hall. Maybe they're coming for us." He took his wrist in his hand. "Who do you mean by they?" she asked. "The people of Shotland," he answered. "The clan of the man that you killed? The people who live by the eastern gate? You mean people are living in the city?" "Yes, but quick now. We must go to the home of my clan by the western gate. Come! Who are you, and what brought you here?" cried Valeria. "My name is Techot. I came with my friend Chimek to attack those from Sochtlank, but I almost lost him. And when I found him here, his throat was cut. The burning skull did it, and he wanted to kill me. Too. Before you saved me, maybe he wasn't alone. Maybe others from Sochtland will come. They do terrible things to those that they take alive." Valeria looked at the Chotul's grey face and shaking body. "What was he talking about?" she said, not fully understand. She turned back to the school on the floor. Was it really so dangerous? Hi, we're going to read chapter 4 of Conan the Red Barbarian, Red Nails. So, if you have to do something, I'll wait till you here. No? Okay, so let's get started. 5 dead dogs. Valeria thought the still bright school with the toe of his foot. "Don't touch it. Don't look at it. It can make you crazy and kill you. The wizards of the city understand it secret. They found it in the catacombs where the bones of the terrible kings who live here in the dark past are kept. Come with me now. The school showed bright now." Whose school was it? Valeria wondered. It started at her, like a school in a dream. It seems able to think, in fact, life was like a dream, she thought. "Don't look at the school." She heard the cry from far away. Suddenly, Valeria shook herself out of her heavy walking sleep. Techotl was standing next to her, speaking quietly. It was the school over the king of all wizards. It still his life and fire in it. Valeria left her sword in the both hands and brought it down squarely on the skull. It broke into several burning pieces inside her head. She heard great and terrible cry of angry pain. "You've destroyed it! They not made it now! Come, I can't. I have friend nearby, she began. The frightened expression on the Tenochtitl face made her turn in time to see four men enter the room. They were like the others that she had seen, but their cheeks were painted with a picture of a white skull. One man attacked the Chotl, and the other man came for Valeria, with eyes as red as the eyes of dogs. She broke her sword down on the head of the first man. He fell dead to the floor. Then she drove her sword through the belt to the second, who fell to his knees. His free hand went to the wind in his stomach. After that, the third, taller than the others, attacked her. Techotl was now sitting on the chest of the fourth man, who was lying on the floor. The man's hand was around the Techotl's wrist, stopping him driving the knife into his chest. Valeria and third man fought bravely, sword to sword. His eyes burned with red fire, but he could not beat her. After a while, he began fighting more tirelessly. Valeria took a step backward to make him move forward. It was then that she felt a strong hand around her ankle. She had strong foot wounded man on the floor.